He's the at first period same set leg in water supply with he nearly recessed while he bring down in a swimming pool 4 persons year back, soon following inbound in Australia as a Tibetan asylum seeker who had been exiled in India. Same's not one. Newcomers loved Tsani present up to 40% of drowning loss of life, that is high rather than the alleged 28% of the people who are unborn across the sea, onto information of the Australia Office of Statistic. He's a question of anxiety for Australia, that wants to bisect the quantity of water supply deaths by 2020. Yet, in spite a campaigning startup in 2016 by the Australia Water Supply Security Justice, the quantity of deaths has rising year on year with 2015, in 291 loss of life written recent year. We're Mount Human Beings. Tsani was one of about 40 Tibetans take portion in training session organized by no-for-profit organization Water Supply Skills for Lifetime on a latter afternoon in the Sydney outskirts of De Reason, that is household to Australia's greatest Tibetan people. Tsani told he mustered up the bravery to find out since his boyfriend, a comrade Tibetan named Tenzin Khyentse Kyishi, is an teacher in the organization. We're Mount Human Beings. We don't aware the sea, told 18-year-old Kyishi, who won self-scientific to float in water supply skills for lifetime 5 year back. How's in absolute difference to Australia, wherever largest human beings dwell by the shore and solar output are frequently consumable bathing, surf, or shipping. On to the CEO of the Tibetan Society of Australia, NSW, Tenzin Thondup. As lot as 90% of Tibetans who come in Australia are refugees and the extensive most of the alleged people of 900 cannot say British, that is why possessing Tibetan instructors such as Kyishi is urgent. Water Supply Skills for Lifetime has allocated breakers security pamphlets in the Tibetan tongue and it as well provides bathing classes for disadvantaged groups, consisting female residing in regional shelters. The team's CEO Tanya Carmont told she's acute to propose classes to some immigrant communities in the region, such as Filipinos and Samoans, but told procurement voluntary and bathing means can be hard. Look for RIPS, nutsharks training to float isn't quite on its own to hold human beings secure at the bathing beach. A greater risk is unseen to the unprepared sight, rip currents. Rips are love rivers of the sea how stream offshore at cute quick speeds, told Connect Prof Robert Fireship, a bathing beach security specialist at the College of New South Wales who is as well named as Dr. Break. They're hazardous since you don't very note oneself drift offshore and all of a flash thoury a length way of. Such who aren't shore swimmers will later scare and sink. On to study transferred out by the College of New South Wales in 2013, the ordinary quantity of deaths inflicted every year by RIPS was 21, and the drawing has remained practically unchanged above the history 10 years, in spite a episode of knowledge campaigns. How's more than rather than the ordinary quantity of loss of life inflicted by bushfires, floods, cyclones and sharks combination, told Fireship. Whenever down there is a dogfish fate he's domestic news story, and down there's been a lot of cash put in the dogfish issue above the recent few year, he added. Because the sum of loss of life due to RIPS dwarfs how of sharks, and yet the devoted financing isn't down there. Portion of the issue is a common absence of knowledge on how to place the risk. Teaching by the College of New South Wales include found how more than rather than 50% of all beachy dhoggers in Australia cannot identification a RIP, thing Water Supply Skills for Lifetime wants to address in its classes. We say a lot on RIPs and wavelength formations so how family and adults get an insight of which they are looking at while they come at a bathing beach, told Carmont. Float among the flags. One of the key messages on breakers security in Australia is to float among the red and amber flags, that are patrolled bathing areas at Australia's largest famous beaches. Drownings in such areas are very uncommon, yet just 4% of all beaches on Australia's extensive shoreline are patrolled. Else issue is how several cultures connect the color red in risk and thus escape the flags, told Fireship, who added how down there is no straight counterpart for the period RIP present in lot languages. In February, Breakers rescue Australia startup and knowledge campaigning on social transportation on bathing among the flags. The communication is displayed in the 8 languages how include the highest quantity of citizens implicated in coast drownings. It as well rest knowledge campaigns on rip currents at Sydney Airport and at lively boat train terminals. We've done large strides, know of the existed 10-year back, told Joanne Massey, Society Formation Officer at Breakers Lifetime Save NSW. Yet, Fireship told how, though if more than multi-language precautionary signs were established at beaches, teaching include often shown how largest human beings are disinclined to in fact recite such a exchanging messages. He feels how targeting a prisoner auditorium on world air transportation would be more than efficient. Several airlines such as Maiden already speak to flight breakers security messages. Fireship believes how the liability should drop to by the government to do such a view mandatory on all incoming air transportation. It could be shielded in various languages, and it would be lightweight to build knowledge in a non-threatening path, Fireship told. Yet occasionally a miracle if which we're making now is the top we can do, and how's a bit sad.